Hello there and welcome to Times Exclusive. My name is Elvis Howahowa. This is a program that takes a look at issues of national importance, and we take a look at those issues through the lens of a variety of guests. And today we're talking to Dr. George Chaima, a political analyst, and we'll be focusing on this particular week when Malawians were exposed to presidential candidates and running mates for various political parties ahead of the 21st May tripartite elections. Remember, this program is coming your way courtesy of Rainbow Paints.
Weather Shield, another brand from Rainbow Paints. This is Ultimate. An extreme high-performance acrylic smooth textured finishing with ultraviolet absorption and maximum flexibility properties for wall finishes. A built-in fungicide to resist molds. Simple to use, quick drying, water-resistant binding power, low dirt retention, and hides hairline cracks. Suitable for use on all exterior walls, be it plaster, concrete, or brickwork. Available in a wide range of colors in 5 and 20-liter containers. Contact us today in Blantyre 01841-813, 01841-871, Lilongwe 01755-901. Email info@rainbowpaints.biz. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind, part of the deal.
It is no longer in the next year's elections. The elections are taking place this year, and on Monday, February 4, an important step in the electoral process has happened. Malawi Congress Party President Lazarus Chakwera and his deputy Sidik Mia presented their nomination forms to make. The MCP has been a party of faiths, being the first to hold their convention, the first to hold primary elections, the first to unveil their running mate, and now the first to present their credentials. During the nomination forms presentation ceremony, Chakwera sounded hopeful that the party will also be first in the May 21 tripartite elections. Chakwera says he has been sent by Malawians from Chitipa to Nsanje to liberate them from their miseries. He says through the Chakwera Super High Five, which consists of servant leadership, prospering together, rule of law, uniting Malawians and ending corruption, the Malawi Congress Party will transform the country. Receiving the nomination forms from Chakwera, Make Chairperson Justice Jenansa has urged the MCP leader to stick to clean campaign, free from mudslinging. He has also urged Chakwera to be the champion of tolerance, which is the beacon of democracy in the country. Jameson Nishawuluka, reporting 4 Times. GC says Malawi Electoral Commission must take the rigging reports made by President Mutharika and his vice Saulos Chilima seriously and ensure that it delivers credible elections. He then condemned political violence, saying it is utter backwardness as the country enjoys multi-party democracy. He says Umodzi Party will bring much-needed change, saying all other political parties have similar policies that are bent to further impoverishing Malawians. GC says his party will provide universal access to quality education and healthcare. Jameson Nishawuluka, reporting 4 Times.
Dr. Chaima, a very good evening and welcome to Times Exclusive.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about what happened this particular week. From Monday to Friday, presidential candidates of various political parties presented their nomination papers to the Malawi Electoral Commission at MEC, and we also saw most of them unveiling their presidential candidates. What has been your take on the way the process has gone or went?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would say that this year and this week in particular, we have seen quite a number of participants in the forthcoming tripartite elections contesting at presidential levels, and also the unveiling of various running mates. It has been remarkable in a way that this has been much more different from what has been happening in previous elections. So I can say, in a nutshell, it's been remarkable, interesting, controversial, and also educative on another hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's begin by taking a look at some of the presidential candidates, first of all. Let's begin with Ras Chikomeni Chirwa.
I, Ras Chikomeni David Chirwa.
Ras Chikomeni David Chirwa surprised many with the multitudes who came to witness him present his nomination papers to make. Chirwa came with a huge crowd, surpassing some of the presidential candidates who came before him. During the function, Chikomeni unveiled Catherine Kayange, his own mother, as his running mate. MEC chairperson Justice Jenansa said MEC rejected the papers because Chikomeni did not pay the required 2 million kwacha nomination fee and that he did not get the required number of nominators in some districts. Chikomeni described Wednesday, February 6th, 2019 as a sad day in the history of Malawi's democracy, saying it was hard to believe that he had to pay to enjoy his constitutional rights. On the issue of nominators, Chikomeni said it was difficult for an independent presidential candidate like him to meet the requirement within such a short time. He then urged the establishment of the special law to govern the conduct of the independent candidates in an election, saying they cannot be guided by the Political Parties Act. Jameson Nichauluka, reporting 4 Times.
What did you make of his move to aspire for the presidency of Malawi during this particular week?
Ras Chikomeni has been very outstanding candidate in a very, very significant way, in a sense that he portrayed himself to the nation with 2 faces. One, he came up to demonstrate his fundamental human right to contest and participate at the highest level for the highest office of the country. That's the presidential position. Nobody ever thought that a person of his persona would come up in the open to declare his interest and participate. So that has brought the message to the Malawian people that democracy is maturing and democracy is growing, and anybody who has got the interest can take part to contest in the position that he wants. So that's what he demonstrated to the people. And on the other hand, we saw Ras Chikomeni Chirwa carrying the voice of the poor, the majority poor Malawians, in the way he presented himself to the electoral body during the event of presenting the papers. So he carried 2 faces. One, to demonstrate his fundamental human right, and 2, also to come up as a voice for the poor people in the country.
Now, public opinion was divided over his candidature. Some were saying, well, Malawi needs to be serious. Stakeholders need to be serious when they're looking at this issue of president, as far as Malawi is concerned. Others were saying, well, he has the right. He went there, a few things he didn't meet. One of them was the payment, meeting the payment fee, which is 2 million kwacha for presidential candidates, getting about 10 nominators in all the districts of this country, among others. And others arguing to say that particular requirement, particularly paying 2 million kwacha, if you are to run for the presidency, is discriminatory. Do you see it that way?
No, it's not discriminatory. Ras is a Malawian who is a bit civilized the way I looked at him, because he is able to command his speech. At some point I could watch him during various programs and hear him how he could narrate the constitutional part of the country and also its interpretation. And this shows that he is a civilized person. And what proved him to be a little bit a person who lacks seriousness is that he neglected the part which he claimed he knew very well. That is the Constitution. He forgot that a country or an institution or an organization cannot operate without a constitution. Malawi, just like in other countries, has got its national constitution. And in our country, we have also the parliament that is established by an act of parliament. So the parliament makes laws, and that empowers also the electoral body, the Malawi Electoral Commission, which is also having its own constitution and the act, let me say Electoral Act, which we have all known that it exists. So in that particular constitution, the Malawi Electoral Commission has got guidelines on how to engage various aspirants, ranging from the presidential aspirant to member of parliament and through to the even ward councillors. And one of the requirements, which is a constitutional requirement, is that the candidate must fulfill all the conditions and terms and the guidelines that define his position. Now, Ras Komen was aware of that, because we can tell that he was aware when he was making some arguments that his constitutional birthright gives him the right and the authority to participate in any kind of process, including the electoral process. All right? That's his fundamental birthright. But what he neglected on that part is that he kept on insisting that in democracy, you don't have to buy democracy.
Isn't that right? Do you buy a right?
No. You don't buy the right. You don't buy democracy either. But what the Malawi Electoral Commission has been doing is not selling democracy, but it's just been fulfilling its own mandate. We should bear in mind that the electoral process is not a childish game. This is a serious game. It's a national function, a national event that must be concluded in a very, very serious manner, and also bring up credible results after the electoral process is done and completed. But what we could see with Ras Chaima is he neglected that very important part and thought that he could start changing laws on a public podium like the Comesa Hall, which was very wrong.
Now, there are others like him who also failed to pay that nomination fee. Another one was Florence Fulai. Then you have Smart Suwal, if I'm not mistaken, or Swila, who couldn't pay that nomination fee. Doesn't that make the presidency for the rich?
Well, not necessarily for the rich. You know, this is a race. Once you express, or before you express your interest to participate, you must first examine yourself. Do you have all the qualifications? You can see at the beginning that there is a declaration. Every single candidate has been declaring that I'm worthy and I qualify. There is nothing that disqualifies me. And that is a clear indicator that the process has got guidelines. You cannot go into the football pitch when you know that you don't play football, but you play basketball. Or else you infringe upon all the rules of football and you will not perform. So the same with this position of the president. It's a very serious position, a senior position, the highest position of the country. And you cannot go to that, race without examining yourself, looking at your capabilities and abilities, and also how you can prove yourself to the society or the nation that you want to vote for you. It's very important that you have to look at all these things. So I can say that many people were aware of that, especially the candidates, and only a few failed to meet those obligations. Those are their personal obligations, and they were supposed to meet that and fulfill them. They were not supposed to come on the podium and start making excuses there. That was very wrong, and we should be very serious in taking this function very seriously, because it's not only Malawi watching, it's the whole world watching. And if we go to an event like that, to a function like that, and start becoming dramatic in your actions, the world can begin laughing at us, which is very shameful. So I would say that the electoral and the presidential processes are not only for the rich, but for the people who know their capabilities, who know their responsibilities, and who know the requirements to contest at that position.
Okay.
If you do not have money and you aspire for that position, definitely you are actually looking at persuading people to follow you, who can become your supporters in the final analysis. And what he was supposed to do, or those candidates who failed to pay the fee were supposed to do, was to mobilize support from their followers and give them support. Actually, this is what happens in many developed countries. Before they elect or before the candidates express their interest to participate, they present and declare to the electoral bodies their capabilities, their abilities, and their responsibility to show that they have enough and adequate resources to contest at that position. So it's not being discriminatory. It's simply following the rules of the game and also fulfilling the constitutional mandate of the electoral body.
Okay. Let's talk about his running mate, Ras Chicomene's running mate. He picked his mother.
That's also has got two faces. One, Ras Chicomene, if you can look at him in a way, is an activist. Okay, speaking on behalf of the voiceless, like I said at the beginning, and his interest, I mean, his whole objective for doing that was, one, to empower women and promote them to contest or to represent other women in that position. So that is something that should also be commendable. But at the same time, it's a little bit funny, as he lacks a seriousness. It's like he is trying to personalize his position to contest as a president. He wants his mother to become his running mate. This is not a kingdom. This is a sovereign state. It's not a kingdom whereby the dynasty can continuously be maintained. We have to change from different perspective point of view in the way we run those offices. And this is a kind of democracy that many Malawians have been fighting for. They are actually tired of a kind of politics whereby we want children to be replacing our positions as national leaders. And we are tired of our brothers to be replacing us as candidates for national duties, because this is not a kingdom. This is actually a sovereign state. So everybody should be given a platform to contest. But he did a good job to include his mother as a woman or as a female. But on the other hand, it was a little bit childish because there is no way you can pick up your mother to represent you. Although he has been making an argument that he is an independent candidate, he does not have a political party, he does not have structures, and so the best he could do is pick up his mother. But I think there were more than just a mother he could come up with as his pick. Yeah.
The Malay Congress Party also went there. Lazarus Chakwera, Siddiq Mia, the running mate.
Yeah.
What do you make of that pair?
If you can look at the Malay Congress Party politics this year, this time around, when I'm talking about this time around, I'm talking about this electoral period. Malay Congress Party has demonstrated to be very organized. Okay, it came up. It was the first party to come up with the running mate, and not just the first, but it came up with the running mate in good time. That gave an opportunity to the party to accept the position of the running mate and also monitor his performance and his weaknesses prior to this day of presenting the nominations. Secondly, the president was able to sell his running mate to his followers and to other nations very well, and had adequate time to do that, and to familiarize himself with the supporters and followers of the party. And that was excellent kind of organization and preparation towards the moments of presenting nomination papers which we have witnessed this week. And you can see there was no drama of any kind, and there was no holding up the followers in suspense or in predicament because they already had answers. And when we look at Right Honorable Siddiq Mia for Malay Congress Party as a running mate, I think that's the best pick for the party.
Sorry to cut you, Malay Congress Party has been facing challenges in previous elections.
Yes.
To do well, particularly in the southern region, eastern region as well.
Yeah.
But now there are other players that have come in. You've got UTM, for instance.
Yeah.
Others are saying votes have been divided in the southern region. MCP does well in the central region. The northern region is a swing region. It can go anywhere. Anybody can win votes in the north.
Yeah.
How do you rate Malay Congress Party's chances of doing better in the southern region, eastern region, bearing in mind that there are other players now that have come in and sort of changed the scenario?
We should first look at the position of the running mate, which went to Right Honorable Siddiq Mia. Right Honorable Siddiq Mia is a public figure, a crowd puller. He has the personality, and he has got the regional balance, and he has also got the religious balance. You know, in southern region, we have got a huge population in the lower Shire belt, and he is very, very popular in that belt. Obviously, that adds credit to the party. And looking at also the eastern region, where there are majority of religious followers of his belief, that also adds a lot of followers from that region. And even here in the southern region, there are several followers of his faith. So this adds a credit to Malay Congress Party and gives its chance to do much better this time than it did last time. So I can say that that's the best choice for the party. And also the man of a great force, he has got a driving force, he's very persuasive, and you have watched his rallies. Wherever he's gone, there have been huge gathering of people. So that adds an advantage to Malawi Congress Party to contest with these other big parties. And looking at the UTM has, of course, come in at a point whereby they brought excitement, especially to the youth, the younger generation. And this is where the UTM has played a role to divide the votes for the southern region and also the eastern region. But having come at the point of submitting their nomination papers this week, there was a kind of drama.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that very shortly,
all right,
Dr. Chaima. But remember, you're watching Times exclusive right here on Times TV with me, Elvis Howahowa, and today we're joined by Dr. George Chaima, a political analyst, a doctor in political science. He's analysing the week that has been, where presidential candidates of various political parties presented their nomination papers to Malawi Electoral Commission. Of course, there will be further scrutiny of those papers by the electoral body, and they also unveiled their running mates. From the UTM to the Malawi Congress Party to the DPP, they all went there and presented their nomination papers. Plus, we also saw independent candidates trying their luck with these particular elections. We'll be back very shortly. Remember, this program is brought to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints.
Weather Shield, another brand from Rainbow Paints. This is Ultimate, an extreme high-performance acrylic smooth textured finishing with ultraviolet absorption and maximum flexibility properties for wall finishes. A built-in fungicide to resist molds. Simple to use, quick drying, water-resistant binding power, low dirt retention, and hides hairline cracks. Suitable for use on all exterior walls, be it plaster, concrete, or brickwork. Available in a wide range of colors in 5 and 20-liter containers. Contact us today in Blantyre 01841-813, 01841-871, Lilongwe 01755-901. Email info@rainbowpaints.biz. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind, part of the deal.
Banda refused to comment on her short-term alliance with UTM, saying she would not let the alliance talk overshadow an otherwise colorful event. She said there must be a special time to discuss the aborted alliance with UTM, not during the presentation of her nomination forms to make, but addressing people who gathered at the function. Banda said she wants to continue from where she left, educating girls, reducing infant and mortality rates, as well as ending electricity blackouts.
I suffered what they call postpartum hemorrhage. I was bleeding to death. But being a wife of the judge and a friend of the gynecologist, he called him and saved my life. And from that day onwards, I decided I was not going to sit by when women die like chicken giving life.
During the ceremony, Banda also unveiled economist Dr George Chaima as her running mate. Jameson Chauruka, reporting 4 Times.
If you're just joining us, this is Times exclusive right here on Times TV. My name is Elvis Howahowa, a program that looks at issues of national interest. And today we're talking about presidential candidates and their running mates, because this week they all went to the Malawi Electoral Commission to present their nomination papers, from President Peter Mutharika to Lazarus Chakwera to Saulos Chilima and even Rasikomeni Chirwa. They all did try to follow that procedure. Those whose nomination papers were accepted are waiting for further scrutiny, but some were turned down. And that's where we begin our second half of the program. Dr. Chaima, independent presidential candidates were turned down, most of them. Rasikomeni we have talked about. Another one, Mr. Smart, Swira, he was also turned down.
Yes.
And a couple didn't do well. Another lady by the name of Florence Fulai was also turned down. She was turned down because they couldn't meet some of the conditions. What's your take on the way independent presidential candidates have performed in as far as this process is concerned?
What I think I can say is that the Malawi electoral body should come up with an effort to consult widely across the country about how to fill some of these positions. Like we talked a little bit at the beginning, these positions are serious positions because they are national positions and they last for a period of 5 years. And every person that needs to contest and stand to fill those positions must be capable candidates. There are other places where they can go and approach or run or ask for support if they need support. But what we witnessed with President Swila as a candidate, and also Madame Fly as a candidate, those are the things which should not be tolerated. Those are the things which should not be promoted. I would suggest that the Malawi Electoral Commission should have enough time to invite those who have shown interest to participate before going to the event of presenting their papers. Probably they should have some parallel session of examining and scrutinizing their documents and their capabilities before bringing them to the podium where they can bring intrigue and drama like we have been seeing today. That was very, very bad and kind of bizarre. Let's look at the way, for example, the aspirant, another aspirant reacted. He reacted very badly towards one of the journalists when he was being interviewed. We could see him almost tapping on his abdomen. I mean, I think that's not something that it should be tolerated. That should be avoided at every level of human conduct, because that's not good at all. If you want to contest at that position, you must also respect other people, their dignity, their personality, and also their rights. So I feel like make sure to learn from these incidents which have happened, that maybe in the future what they might need to do is they must organize parallel sessions to examine those documents before they re-verify them at the podium like COMESA.
Is it viable? Does it make sense to contest as an independent presidential candidate in Malawi's political context?
Well, it depends on how popular you are, and also how much preparation you have made. Anything is possible. But if we want to contest with the view of bringing our messages across to the people that independent candidates are poor, I think that message is very unfortunate, and that mentality is very unfortunate, because there are so many fora that where we can go and speak out before or besides the electoral podium like we witnessed.
But how can that president really work in practicality? He doesn't have members of parliament. He doesn't have. He's independent. How can he work?
Well, followers do not only come from particular political parties. Followers are people. Ordinary people are followers of every candidate. Even if they belong to a party, they are ordinary people. You can persuade them to follow you. Let's look at, let me go back to the time we were fighting for freedom, or fighting for democracy in this country. Right Honorable Chakufa Chihana, the late, came up in the open. He didn't come with a party. He came as a person, and he announced his interest to bring change to this country. By that time, he had no political party. And upon his coming, he declared the interest to form the pressure group. And what happened in the final analysis? Many people followed and rallied behind him. The whole country was on fire because of late Chakufa Chihana. Okay, the other people followed the suit, like the former president, His Excellency Dr. Bakili Muluzi, through UDF, and this is how democracy came up into being. It was not born from a particular political party. It was born from the zeal, passion, courage, and the bravery of a particular individual in the likes of one person. So an independent candidate can also make miracles depending on his popularity, his capability to mobilize the resources and mobilize supporters across the country. Anything can happen in democracy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to political parties now and talk about the UTM, because they were next on the list. We saw the president of UTM, Dr. Salosine, who also happens to be the vice president of the country, and vetting Michael Usi as his running mate.
Yeah.
What was your take on that choice? What's your take on the choice?
Well, if we to follow the events that happened with UTM last week through to this week when they presented the papers, there was a lot of drama surrounding the UTM. We heard that they tried to go into alliance with some political parties like the PP, there was Tekonze, and Afford. They agreed, they told the nation that we had agreed to form an alliance. But 2 or 3 days later, what we saw was drama. And the purpose of the alliance was that they should identify the possible running mate. So the picking up of Michael Woos as a running mate, I would not want to say that it's something that was planned for, but it was something that was done because they had no alternative at the last minute. So this is where it contrasts choosing a running mate in time and choosing a running mate at the last minute. So Michael was picked up as the person to fill the gap because there was no alternative, there was no option. What if their alliance stood? We could not see Michael standing as a running mate for UTM.
The pulling out of People's Party from that alliance, Tekonze coalition as well pulled out.
Yeah.
Has that had any impact on UTM's popularity, image, and its chances?
Definitely, it did. It did. If you can follow what the spokesperson for PP said, he said that Honorable Vice President Dr. Saros Chilima is not a person that can be trusted. He said he's not a leader that can be trusted. And he said he's not a person who is prepared to run this country. And what does that mean? It means that his credibility had been reduced by an attempt to form that alliance.
Chilima arrived with a pomp at Gomesa Hall in Blantyre to present his nomination papers to the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, accompanied by thousands of his supporters. Afford President Enoch Chihana, George Nessa of Mafunde, and Mike Atsonga Pete of People's Progressive Movement were also in attendance. Presenting the nomination papers to MEC with his running mate Michael Usi, Chilima said time has come for youthful leadership in Malawi. Chilima then preached against tribalism and regionalism, saying Malawians from all corners of the country are living in poverty. Let us accept that time has come for youthful leadership which does not have roots in the old ways of doing things. We cannot develop as a country using the old ways. If you go to Palombe, you find men and women living in poverty just like men and women in Deza. Chilima then apologized to the media fraternity on reports that the MEC journalist was assaulted by suspected UTM supporters. Jameson Nishauruka, reporting 4 Times.
Do you think the choice of Michael as running mate is a bad choice, or is it a comic choice?
I cannot say that it's a bad choice per se, but let's look at how he became the running mate. It was like after they came from the controversial affair with the divorce, the divorcing of their alliance with other political parties. So Michael was a candidate that was picked up to fill the gap of a running mate because UTM did not have any other choice but picking up Dr. Michael Usi. Dr. Michael Usi, when we look at him, is a comedian. And because of his talents, his entertainment, fraternal background, people begin thinking that now the UTM is full of comedians. There is also other comedians within the same party. So a little bit that has weakened the morale of the people and also the strength of the party. But when we look at his background, Michael Usi, not as a comedian, he is a well-educated person. He is also a crowd puller, though in an entertainment world, and we are yet to see how much influence he will bring to the political circle after he has presented the nomination papers with his president to the Electoral Commission. So the element of comedy is there. Of course, a comedian will always become a comedian. It's like a politician, you're always a politician, so we can't rule out that. And also because of the way he has been picked up, people feel like the party did not prepare very well. And there are so many grudges also being speculated. Why has he picked Michael Usi and not me? So all these things might have contributed negatively towards UTM popularity.
Amutali achimulire njini munthu ophunzira bwino, odzipereka komanso olimbikira ntchito ndipo ndi okwanira kukhala wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dziko lino. Iwo achimulire njira kudziwa bwino mmene malamulo a dziko lino amayendera pa ubale wa mtsogoleri ndi wachiwiri wake, kotero kuti akuzindikira kuti akadzakhala wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dziko lino adzadikira kuti akuzidwe zochita ndi abwana awo. Amutali achimulire njini akuzindikiranso kuti pakuyenera kukhala mtsogoleri wa dziko mmodzi pa nthawi imodzi, kotero kuti wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dziko si mtsogoleri winanso wa dziko. Amutali ati ndokonzeka kupitiriza kuchotsa dziko lino mu mphawi mu zaka zisanu zikubwerazi, koma apempha Amalawi kuti akhale ogwirizana kuti dziko lino likwere.
Tiyenikire pamodzi mtima umodzi.
Amutali asanapereke kalata zawo ku bungwe la MEC, bungwe linandiranso kalata za anthu amene afuna kudzapikisana pa udindo wa president pansi pa chipani cha National Salvation Front NASAF Alaudon Malingamo Phiri ndi amene akuyima paokha a Reverend Hardwick Aliya. Komabe bungwe la MEC linakana kulandira kalata za Smart Swira ndi Damiano Ganiza amene ndi oyima paokha, pamene Dr Baxter Boyd Natulu sanabwere kudzapereka kalata zawo. Potsekera zonse wapampando wa bungwe la MEC Justice Jenansa anati mwa kalata 24 zimene anthu anakatenga ku bungwe la MEC, anthu 13 ndi anabweretsa kalata zawo ku bungweli. Komabe iwo atalandirapo kalata 10 zokha, ponena kuti anthu atatu anawabweretsa kuti akakonze zina ndi zina zimene zinalakwika mu kalata zawo. Ndine Jameson Chauluka, 4 Times.
And President Peter Mutharika has also unveiled his running mate. He presented his nomination papers on Friday. Everton Chimulirenji, that's his running mate. Strange choice? Unexpected choice, maybe?
Well, if you followed what the President said, His Excellency Professor Mutharika, he gave reasons why he has come up with that choice. He cited up the loyalty he had towards him when he was the Minister of Defense and he was a deputy at that time. The President said the running mate was very loyal to him. And he also said he is a team player, which is an excellent qualification of a running mate. You have to become a team player, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be cooperative, you have to respect the laws, you have to respect your boss in a better way than in a harmful way, like we have seen becoming the cases with the previous vice president. He also articulated that he is a person who can play the role of a vice president and not the vice of a deputy president. He made distinct difference between the vice president and also the deputy president. So I think for him to come up with that choice, we cannot say he has come up with a wrong choice, but the best choice, because he has done his analysis of the peak pretty well.
But what does he bring to the table in terms of votes? Others say you need to pick someone in Malawi's political context who will bring you maybe the regional vote, like MCP did, or like maybe UTM has done. Chidema is from the central region, Shell particular. Michaels is from the north, from the Loma Belt, Mulanje to be able to. So that kind of combination is necessary. Perhaps pick someone from the northern region to bring you that regional vote. What does Timulida Nji bring to the table?
You know, he comes from Nchewu, which is also central region. And in central region, there are also a number of followers of DPP party. And being in that position as a party, it's obvious that the peak of this running mate is also some valuable pick, because he'll be able to encourage supporters and followers of DPP in Central Region to continuously rally behind the party and also continuously become loyal to the leadership of the party. So he still adds value to that, at that angle.
Dr. Chaima, thank you very much for coming here to Times Exclusive.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Mbakwaku Movement for Development President Peter Kuwani was accompanied by a sizable crowd of supporters who offered him moral support during the ceremony. Kuwani presented his credentials to make after Malawi Congress Party President Lazarus Chakwera and Umodzi Party leader John Chisi led the exercise on Monday. Speaking after presenting the nomination forms, Kuwani said he will increase the tax-free band for employees to 100,000 kwacha to enable them to have enough disposable income for their needs. He said being a chartered accountant and a former MRA employee, he understands the country's taxation system well.
The ultimate purpose of any tax system is to achieve equity and fairness. So the prime objective is to make sure that the tax system is equitable. Equity will come in if we consider those employed. Those employed are suffering silently because they can't run away from the tax regime. They are taxed at source. So what we are saying, those people who are taxed at source, we shouldn't squeeze them to a corner.
Kuwani then pledged to conduct a clean campaign free from violence and provocations. Jameson Nishawuluka, reporting for Times. Muluzi presented his nomination papers to the Malawi Electoral Commission (MEC) to end speculations on whether he would contest as president against the administration he serves as minister. Muluzi said in Mwenefumbo the country will have the best vice president and that together they offer new beginning to the country. He said working in the Democratic Progressive Party administration for the past 5 years has equipped him with relevant skills and experience to run for president. Muluzi further said he has shown to the nation that it is possible for people of different political affiliations, religions and tribes to work together for the good of the country.
Working alongside the incumbent government has equipped me with the capacity to observe and handle critical issues affecting us. Hence, the UDF is geared towards providing tangible and fruitful panacea to such critical shortcomings in sports, human rights, food security, and nutrition.
Meanwhile, the United Democratic Front, UDF, has paid nomination fees for its aspiring candidates. Jameson Nishawuluka, reporting for Times. Chirumba, who is also president of the Assembly for Development and Democracy, ADD, put the smallest crowd by presidential candidate at the Commercial Hall in Blantyre. During the ceremony, Chirumba unveiled a community development expert, Zona Kuziona Matumba, as running mate. Chirumpa said with Matumba they have the best plan for the country on ending corruption and job creation. He then said he has a clean record as a lawyer and politician, serving as Member of Parliament, Cabinet Minister and a Vice President. Jameson Nishauluka, reporting 4 Times.
That's all we had for you in today's edition of Times Exclusive. And in the program this evening, we were speaking to Dr. George Chaima, a political analyst, on the presentation of nomination papers by various political party presidential candidates, as well as the unveiling of their running mates. Thanks for watching.